So hello again guys. So right now we are going to learn about basic input output, and I'm going to add arithmetic operations, and then we are going to learn array. So beforehand, I'm going to say that I'm not a native English speaker, so there are going to be a lot of mispronunciation like in the last video. Oh yeah, and in the last video I want to apologize that actually when I'm explaining about integer and float, I kind of shown you guys the range of those data types in Firefox, but it turns out that I'm only share screening the Notepad++, so you guys didn't see it, and I apologize for that. But you can search it by yourself. What is the range of all those data types? So now let's start with basic input and output. So we are going to use this line of code first of all. So what does this thing say? Oh yeah, by the way, this is called comment. So when you use double slash, I mean, it will not, the machine will not think about this sentence. So the machine should not process those sentences. Well, if you don't use slash, then it will be processed by the machine. So what this line code says is that this will include all those functions in this library. So library is something like, well, it is basically like a library, right? Library has a lot of books that all of them has different functions. Like if you read calculus, then you become master at calculus. If you read science, then you become master at science. And well, this library is like that too. So you use different library to get different functions. Right? If stdio.h, it stands for standard input and output, I believe. So the function you get is standard input and output. So if you didn't get it at first, then it's okay, just stay with me, okay? And then you need to use in main. And why you need this? Basically, if you don't include this code, then your program will not run. And your program needs to be in this bracket, in between these brackets, okay? If you put it here, right, like print something, then it will give you error. So you need to be in these brackets, okay? So how do you output something? Well, you are going to use the function called printf. So let's print. Oh yeah, if you want to print a sentence, you need to use double quotes, where if you only print one letter, then you can use a single quote. So let's print my name is Richard. And then don't forget semicolon. A lot of programming language still ask you to use the semicolon. If you didn't use it, then it will give you errors. I believe the one programming language that didn't use this anymore is Python itself. So because we are talking about C, then we are going to need a lot of semicolons, okay? Don't forget to put your semicolons. And let's execute this program. We use F11, I believe. So I'm using the C++ in this language to compile it. I mean, I'm using the C to compile my code. So this is the result. My name is Richard. And press any key to continue. So that's it. That's how you print. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, don't forget to use return 0. It is not something you must write, to be honest, because def C is smart enough to put it by itself if you forget to put it. But for your best practice, then please try to put it, okay? So this is how you print, and then let's do some kind of arithmetic operation, okay? Like we are going to use addition number, okay? We are going to add some numbers. Input number 1. I'm sorry, I mean input your first number. And then this is how you input into your machine. So you are going to use scanf, and oh, I'm sorry, we need to put the variables. So what is variables? It is basically like when what you learn in senior high school math, I believe, or junior high school. So it is something like x. This is called variable, and you can input it with like 5 or 6 or 7, or even a literal character, but you need to specify it by using int. If we are talking about number, then you are going to use int or float. So right now we are going to use integer because I want to input a not decimal number. I don't know how to say not decimal number, to be honest. So yeah, we are going to use int because I will not use decimal numbers. So if you are using integer, then before you specify it, you need to use %d, and then you use ampersand x. I'm sorry, it will be first number, just to make it clear. It will also be first number. This is if you want to input it by integer, but if you want to input it by float number, then you are going to use %f. That is the difference. So integer use %d, float use %f, char use %c, and string use %s. But you are not going to use a lot of %s, to be honest, because you are more of going to use percent something like this, I believe. So let's delete this, and then we need second number and the sum. So right now we have scanned the first number, and then we are going to print input your second number and scanf %f ampersand second number, and then you will use the processing here. So it is basic addition. So the left hand operator is what you are going to get, and the right hand operation is how you get it. Okay, so sum is first. Oh yeah, you can show this by control space. Okay, so this is first number plus by second number, and then now you will print the sum. Okay, let's try. Input your first number 5.2, your second number 3.7, and you will get 8.9. Okay, that's correct. And you can format this number, this decimal, by using, if you only want 2 decimals, then you add this. Let's try 5.4, 2.7. And you only get 2 decimals, something like that. Okay. So this is for basic input output and for arithmetic operation. Oh yeah. So like I said, in string you will not use, well, you can use %s and let's say name. So you need string name. I'm sorry, C didn't support string yet. So you are going to use this char name 100. And this is basically an array. So let's discuss it a little bit later. So now let's discuss more about arithmetic operation. So basically arithmetic is easy, like we have addition, minus, divide is using this slash, and we have multiplication. Multiplication is using this star sign. So if you want to say sum, then it is a plus b. If, well, minus, how do you say minus? Is a minus b. If divide, I don't know how you say divide in cool math language, to be honest. So divide is a divide by b. And multiplication is, multiplication is a times b. So something like this. And we have another operations in programming language, to be honest, and that is called mod. This is basically the, how do you say it? Let's just, I'm going to give you an example. So for example, float, mod is 5 mod 4, mod 4, and printf %.0f mod. Okay. So let's try. So it will resulting in 1. So let's paint. I believe you all has learned something like this for, I'm sorry, my drawing is bad. Something like this for divide operation. So you put here 1 and then 4 minus, and then you will get 1. So this one is the mod. So if you if it is like so if you are using something like this and then divide by 6, then you will get 1, this is 4 minus, and then you will get 2. Then this is the mod of 6 mod 4 is 2. Okay, that is the operation of mod, and this operation is mainly used for even and odd numbers. So how do you search for, let's discuss about it later, but you find even numbers if a mod b is 0, then that is even number. Well, if you A mod B is 1, then it is odd number. I'm saying it correctly, right? If it is mod, then it results in 1, then it is odd, while if it resulting in 0, it is even number, okay? So those are the operations. And now let's discuss about array, okay? So array is basically variables, but it consists a lot of variables. So like if you have a drawer in your room, it is basically one drawer, but you can fit a lot of books in there. And that is called array in this kind of programming language. So right now let's use integer number 100. And is it too much? Well, let's say 10. And you can just input it like, let's just, by the way, if you want to hard code it and just put it there, you can use something like this until 10 array. Oh yeah, by the way guys, array starts at 0. So you usually count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But if you are using array, then you are going to count like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it is something like this. So array starts at 0. Okay, guys, just keep in mind about that. So let's scanf a number %d, and we are going to input the first number into an array. So you are going to use something like this. So this is this line of code talks about inputting a number into the first array of number. 0 is the first array, okay? 0 is the first index. And then if you want to scanf again for the second number, then you input number 1, and so on until you get 10, until you get the index of 9. So let's just printf the, oh yeah, you can also print an enter with this backslash and this is called new line, I believe. So let's print number 0, number 1. Let's test it. 5, 4, and it will print. So that is called array. Oh yeah, guys, and you can also not just scan like this. You can scan it in the same line using this. So scanf stands for, sorry, scan format. So this will scan what you input, but it needs to be in the same format, okay? So you can also input it like this. Let's try 5, and then because in the format we have a space in here, so we also need to input a space. So that's how you scan in one line. And then let's talk about string. So C didn't have a string yet, but it is replaced by an array of characters. So basically, string is an array of character. Okay. So char sentence. Let's use my name, char name 100. So this line of code tells you that we are going to create a character variable that is able to be filled by 100 characters. Okay. So let's scanf, and let's try with %s, okay? And scanf name, and then we are going to printf %s name. In string, you didn't need to use ampersands, but just to make it easy, then all of the scanf are going to be put with an ampersand, okay? But to be honest, the one that you need to put an ampersand is the ones that including numbers. So for arithmetic operations, you are going to need this ampersand symbol, okay? So delete this so it will not disturb the process. So this is string, okay? And then let's run it. So my full name is Ignatius Sutiono. And it will only print the Ignatius. Why? Because if you are using %s, then it will conclude that the variable is ended in here in the space. So this sentence will not be included. So if you want to include it until the new line into when the user press enter button, then you are going to not using the %s, but you are going to use this. So what is this trying to say? So in this code, we are trying to say that we are going to input on the lines until you found the enter. So when you press enter, it is basically putting the \n. So the program will put \n and it will search for, and then this name variable will search for the \n. And when it found, then it stop inputting. So let's press enter, and then now it's printing on all of my names. So that is variables, array, basic input, output, and arithmetic operations. So I believe arithmetic operations you already going to master it, but if you still didn't not sure, then I'm going to show you again because I didn't explain it a lot. But sum is a plus b, and then if 5 plus 4, well, the sum is 9. You must have understand about it, so I will not explain, but sum, and then minus is a min b. Multiplication is a times b. Divide is slash b. And then mod is a mod b. I believe this episode is only until these lessons. So in the next session, we are going to discuss about loop, I believe, and if. How do you call if? But we are going to learn loop and if else conditional. So we are going to use loop. We are going to learn about loop and conditional. Okay. Thank you, guys.